Hello, everyone. It is almost 10 o'clock, and we can very soon start our webinar about reactive to predictive manufacturing in Microsoft Dynamics 365. We will be waiting 1 more minute, and then we can start with our webinar. So let's just wait 1 more minute. So I believe it's good time to start because it's 1 minute past 10, and we are ready to start our webinar regarding from reactive to predictive manufacturing, and especially in Microsoft Dynamics 365 finance and supply chain management solution. Today I will be doing the introduction, and then I will give floor to our senior consultant Meelis, who will be doing the presentation of the solution. So let's see about agenda. I will be giving very short introduction about OIXIO, who we are, what we are doing, and then Meelis will take over the floor to show demand planning and distributed order management in Dynamics 365 supply chain management solution. Questions are very welcomed. You can type some into the Q&A section, and we try to answer some right away. Or if it needs more time to answer, we will be sending some answers after the webinar. So shortly about OIXIO, who we are, what we do. Our companies have been in the market already a little bit more than 30 years. Our home market has been so far Baltics, but now we have been expanding to Germany. Just recently we acquired a company in Germany. Now we have 20 plus colleagues in Germany, and we are delivering our services across Baltics, Germany, and actually all around Europe, and also in some cooperation projects in USA and other markets as well. The OIXIO Group employs 300 employees. We have more than 1,500 customers, and our revenue will be current year over 50 million euros. We are working with quite many technical partners. Just a few of them mentioned here, like Dell, Fortinet, of course Microsoft, and much more other from different sectors. And of course, nowadays it is needed to have ISO certifications, and our services and solutions, what we provide, are certified with ISO as well. So when we're talking about OIXIO services, and our services will cover, I would say, almost 360 degrees for every company needs in nowadays demanding markets. We have advisory, IT, digital, and cyber. So what it means in real life, we can advise companies in terms of digital process optimizations, or finding bottlenecks, problems in companies' processes, why revenues are not increasing, why there are some inefficiency. Then we can build up secure IT foundation for companies' operations, meaning cloud and server networks, office and user devices, 24/7 user support, and of course also IT management as a service as well. Then digital part, we are helping customers to digitalize their processes with different solutions like ERP, customer experience solutions like CRMs. Then we have data and AI team to handle all the data and make the data work for our customers, and also human resource and payroll solutions in Baltics as well. And nowadays, we can't overlook cybersecurity area. Then we have our team who will be delivering different audits, cybersecurity services, sustainability services, different audits, CISO services, etc. So basically, we can say that we cover all demand from IT sector solutions, and we tend to think so that this IT is a tool to have competitive advantage for every business. So that's our uniqueness, that we can deliver so much services as one trusted partner. But let's continue. Today, the main topic is about demand planning and distributed order management. And we are showing it based on Microsoft Dynamics ERP, which is called Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management. And why it's important nowadays, because we would say that volatility is a new normal. Demand planning must cope with rapid market swings, shorter product life cycles, and unpredictable customer behavior. And this kind of modern data-driven forecasting helps companies to respond fast to this kind of volatility situations in the markets. Of course, customers expect anywhere, anytime fulfillment, and this kind of distributed order management functionality ensures that this kind of optimal sourcing, routing, fulfillment, and etc. is and across different warehouses, stores, etc. is done in the best possible way. And of course, nowadays this kind of cash inventory and resilience matter are more important than ever. So let's say integrated demand planning and distributed order management helps to reduce excess inventory, avoid stockouts, and improve working capital. So that's my forward to Meelis, and Meelis as our senior consultant for Microsoft Dynamics solutions already, I would say 20 plus years or even 25 plus years. Then it's really good opportunity to have Meelis here with us. And please, Meelis, you can start sharing your screen and solutions.
Good morning. Thank you, Hannes. I will share my screen. And the first topic, as Hannes mentioned, is demand planning. First, I will go over some reasons why demand planning should be used and what the functionality looks like on the overall high level. So the demand planning, it's a separate application, but it's connected to 365. And demand planning is the process of predicting the future customer demand. So you can buy correct quantities, produce at the right time, reduce stock storages, reduce excess inventory, improve customer service, improve cash flow, and it connects several areas in 365 FO. The demand planning application can be connected to several different environments, but I'm talking about connecting it to 365 FO. So it connects several business areas like sales, procurement, production, warehousing, and finance. And on the next slide, I'm showing a Microsoft picture, which gives a very good overview of the whole process. The upper circle shows demand planning functionalities. So it reads data from multiple sources from the left side here, like from FO, from Excel, CSV files, Azure Data Lake, or some other files. I'll explain that later and show what options are available. Then there is an import function. It obviously reads historical demand, past forecasts, all the master data, what we need for forecasting, like products, companies, and so on. Then we do transformation of the data, basically copy from the imported data into the tables called time series, which are the basis for the whole forecasting in demand planning. Then it includes the forecast generation. There you can do several calculations on top of that or before the forecasting, and then once everything is ready, data will be exported back from demand planning to 365, and it will be inserted into the regular demand, the forecast table in 365, which is input for the master planning. Master planning will read the information and generate the planned orders, either the planned production orders, planned purchase orders, planned transfer orders. And again, now execution starts. Those orders will be sent to the vendors, will be produced on site, and then it will generate again more historical data basically, and the cycle continues again. We will insert that data again, import that data into demand planning, and the whole cycle continues. So that can be done in the ongoing basis. And a couple of more slides before we go into the demo and see the system working. So why traditional planning fails? We know that 365 has been doing very good on several business areas in the system, but maybe the forecasting historically has not been very strong. Around 6-7 years ago, 365 got a new function that was similar to demand planning, and it's still there actually, which is using external machine learning studio and its services to read also the historical data and basically do the same thing, run some algorithms and put data back to 365 forecast table. But yeah, some customers are using it. Not everybody is using it. A lot of customers are still using Excel forecasts. They are using gut feeling, or they are just using last year plus a certain percent. And even some companies are doing manual planning decisions. Like I know that I have to buy every week or every month certain products, so I just place the same order again and go based on that. And of course, based on this situation, we would have different problems in the everyday business, like slow reaction time to the market changes, maybe too much inventory, the problems with the stockouts, also poor service level, and also difficult cooperation between departments. Cooperation between departments is something that demand planning is also improving, as it's doing. It's able to do calculation over the legal entities, between the legal entities. And why demand planning is critical. In the nowadays businesses, we have supply chain disruptions, and that information can be put into the demand planning calculation and taken into account. Inflation problems. Demand planning can use price information also and show and make it clear and show what is the implication of different plans and different changes in the pricing. Seasonal changes, the algorithms that the system is using can take into account seasons and calculate the seasonal forecasts. It will give faster customer expectations, and the safety margins in the warehouse or in the company overall can be smaller, so you can save on the safety margins. And more on this topic, Baltic companies are export-oriented. They are dependent on imports. They are small, medium scale, and they have seasonal effects. So all that can be improved with demand planning. So yeah, what the demand planning is taking into account and what is it doing? Basically, it's as I mentioned, it's doing statistical forecasting and demand prediction based on some historical data, either from 365 or from other sources. You can add some sources that are not in 365 and include that also into the demand planning calculation. It can, as I mentioned, read data from multiple legal entities, from multiple warehouses, so it can make the collaboration between teams better. You can create multiple planning scenarios. It's not only just one forecast, you can create multiple ones. And it's possible to with the calculations in the demand planning application, it's also possible to compare forecast versus actual and what's the difference. And of course, the forecast generated from demand planning can be used in 365 to do purchasing and production decisions. What kind of wins I would see for Estonian companies? So there are a strong warehouse and wholesale and retail business here, manufacturing and tech companies that would leverage this. We could use that to do fast-moving SME decisions and to do automation in the forecasting process and reduce the manual actions that are normally taken when trading forecasts. The forecasting can be run and it can include manual steps, but technically it is possible to tune that so well that it's running automatically and periodically automatically. Some ideas for the Latvian companies. So there are logistics, transit and distribution companies, and the cross-border replenishment might be important here. As I mentioned, multiple legal entities can be included in the calculation and do the cross-border replenishment smoother. And for Lithuanian manufacturing, export, and furniture business, and again, also multi-market planning might be useful here. So it is scalable. I'm showing later it's based on the real implementations I've seen and done so far. It's pretty impressively fast. I'm showing some numbers later. It's cloud-based. Yeah, it works across multiple countries and entities. Implementation we're doing also is using multiple countries. For example, it supports multiple warehouses, multiple languages, and it is integrated with FO and SCM application using data management entities. So the export is done using the data management entities, which the system is running automatically. And yeah, as I mentioned, the whole cycle can be run automatically, or it can include manual steps as needed. So maybe initially you would have more manual steps to tune the process and later run it fully automatically. And here I simplified a little bit Microsoft picture, what I showed earlier. So basically, in our case, and what I'm showing today, the process is as follows. So first, everything starts from 365 FO database, or if needed, you can also include in additional Excel files or other sources. Then there's an import function in demand planning that inserts data into the demand planning tables. So it will copy basically data from Excel or from FO and put it into the demand planning tables. Then the next step that you that we have to do is transformation. And there is an area in demand planning called time series. So all the calculations and all the forecasting happens based on time series, and also the data is put into time series after forecasting. So now there is a step called transformation to take the imported data and put into time series. And now we can run either calculations or forecasting. You can do forecasting first, or you can do calculations first. You can do multiple calculations as needed. But yeah, the calculations will take the time series, do some calculations and put it back to the time series, another time series. And then forecasting also is consuming time series data and doing some forecasting and put into another time series back. And once we have the good forecast available, by the way, it's also possible to update it manually there, either the lowest level of the forecast line, or you can also update the higher records, and the system will automatically update the child records underneath. So manual update is also possible. Once this is done, we just do the export, and that's it will be written back to the 365. Okay, and where does it go into 365? It goes into the regular demand forecast table, which is located in the master planning module. I will show that in a second. And that table, as we know, also based on our previous webinar, is an input table for master planning and also for reporting and analysis. You can do some analysis comparing the forecast and sales data. Actual sales data. And normally, yeah, that table, that forecast table in 365, that can be populated with that older Azure machine learning studio mechanism, which is still out there. Or you can generate it from demand planning, which I'm showing today, or import from Excel directly into 365, or you can also manually enter data into here. It's a good moment to show that data, that table, so we know what we're talking about. So this is 365, and in the master planning, we have a table called demand forecast lines. So that's the table where the data goes into. So I'm in the USRT. So when I go into USMF, it's a demo database here, demo data. We have what data do we have here? We have the forecast model. It basically can allows an unlimited number of forecast models. I have created DP and DP1 here, just two different versions for demand planning. So basically, when it inserts back into 365 into this table, you can mention in the export what model you're exporting it into. And the minimum data we need here is, again, model. We need the date, which is the forecasted sales date. Then we need item number, and we need site, and I guess warehouse is also pretty important normally in the planning process. And we need quantity. But the optional data, which demand planning also supports, is customer account and amount. We can also use that in the calculation and do that also. Plus, of course, variance, color, style, configuration, size. That is nicely integrated with demand planning also. And the implementation I'm doing and we are running right now is also using variance. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, it's a simple table, and it needs to be somehow populated in the system, and demand planning is doing it. Okay, going back to the slides here. Yeah, so this is the picture of the forecast table. And now going through each step in demand planning. So when we do import, then we can choose different service providers, data providers. And normally I'm using right now the FO provider to import the data. But when you click more, this kind of window opens, the Power Query editor, where you can you can see many more options are available to import data from. And as I mentioned, transformation is where we transform data from the imported tables into time series. And here is a main window of it. We need minimum historical demand to be imported. By the way, the historical demand is an entity, data entity in 365, which includes two things. It includes sales data, but it also includes production consumption. So you can also estimate demand for semi-finished good items if you have those in production. Then data from customer accounts, warehouse locations, products, legal entities, and so on. So I just click those fields and they will be inserted into time series. Okay. And next calculation profile, which is doing some kind of calculations. And so basically it consumes data now from time series 1, doing some calculation, and puts data to time series 2. For example, it can take data, the imported data, and increase that by 10%, or it can combine two forecasts, as you can see in the picture here on the right. Combine those and do some kind of calculation and or find average of them. And you can remove outliers from the forecast data. Okay. And it once you run it, it creates a new time series, or you can insert it back into an existing time series. And in terms of calculations, maybe some more words. What kind of calculations are available? So there are several calculations here. Arithmetic operator steps to a calculation that combines values from two input time series, as we saw in the previous slides. Then constant arithmetic operator steps do a calculation that applies a constant arithmetic operation to each value, like you multiply it with something. The date offset, you can use like previous year and push it to the next year, for example. Then logical operation step, so we can define thresholds. So if it's bigger than this or smaller than this, exclude it or multiply or something to do based on that. Merge steps from two time series. Monetary value calculation, like when you are interested about amounts and or margins, then this kind of calculations can be done, like multiply by the product sales price. Phase in, phase out. So for example, when you add a new item or remove old items, then those steps are possible. And the ratio in percentage steps, calculate the ratio in percentage based on two input time series. Okay, there is more data available on this link here. And yeah, phase in, phase out rule. So basically we define when start end date for the phase in, phase out, and then what product will be phased out and what product will be phased in. And then the forecasting step, it takes an existing time series, this one here, applies an algorithm, and we define the seasonality hint for the system. And we define also the output where it will be inserted into time series 2. It is possible to create custom steps and finance and operation step. And now export will run basically 365 data entities to export data from demand planning application to 365. And I have a video available. I'm not. We have a system here, but the thing is, every step basically is running quite long, so it's difficult to see it in that short webinar. So I'm showing based on the video. Okay. And the video was just created yesterday, so the data and the functionality is quite up to date. So this is the application. I have it also here open. I will show that quickly later also in real life. But see, on the left side, we have all the functions for the demand planning. And basically, first, I'm doing the import for demand planning. So I choose 365 as an input, define the name for the import job, demo data import. I'm using demo data in the system. Going next and define the URL for the system. And now next, the system is asking me to define what data, what tables I want to import. I can edit mapping. The mapping is by default defined already. We can see ship date, product ID, warehouse ID. I can add some more tables, like in terms of target tables, the list is quite limited, but the source tables, I can see the whole data management workspace entities, which we have thousands here available. So we can import data from all those entities. And once the mapping is done, I will go on. I can define the automatic schedule to be run every week or every day, and just go and finish this import job. Now I'm running it also. So there is a demo data job. I just click run to run it. And under jobs, I can see the different data entities being imported. One is executing and more are coming into executing status. Some are completed already. So we are importing legal entities, warehouses, products, and historical data. Okay, now it's imported. Everything is imported. It took around 2 minutes, actually. Now I'm doing transformation, as I mentioned earlier. I move data from the imported tables into demand planning time series. And you can select what category it will be into. So I'm using miscellaneous, precision, 0.01. It's in terms of quantities. Now, again, define what data I want to insert into time series, what dimensions, what data. So as I showed on the picture earlier, I'm doing dates, quantities, products, legal entities, and warehouses. We can also see product variant is available there. And related tables, like products, I can use product group, for example, from there. And warehouse can use site or a name for the warehouse, and select legal entities if needed. Okay, now going on. This is the total data that will be imported, measures and dimensions. Click OK. And again, now we can also define filters. So you might import everything, but you want to do forecasting only for certain finished goods, excluding semi-finished good items, or vice versa, do semi-finished good items forecasting and exclude finished good items, for example. But also you can define date range, what date should be taken into account. And here is an example how we can set some filters on the transformation. Right now, I'm doing it based on one legal entity, USMF. And the schedule, again, it can be run as often as needed. And now I'm running it manually right now under jobs. Once I run it under jobs, we can see it running. So the transformation consumes data, and output data will be put into the time series. Executing, again, for a small amount of orders, it takes seconds or minutes. And now all time series are under this area. We have several demo time series already available, but I created a new one just now, and the new one can be found in the list also here, the last one, weekly time series. And we can see data, what is imported into this. So obviously it's a demo database, not much data here. I cannot show customer databases, so I have to work with demo data. And it shows products, legal entities, variants also. It shows time buckets. Right now it's a monthly data actually here. And we can see it graphically, we can download it, and there is a share button. We can share that link to different users. So it's very, very easy to share it to other users, this screen. And now I'm doing calculation for forecasting. So there is a calculation called T001 calculation. So based on one item, and I put in one step to move, as an example, to move this old demo data into new year. So I'm offsetting time 9 years, taking the old data, moving to the new year. Input defines the weekly time series I just created, and save will save a new time series. Okay, so now I'm running it, it's completed. Now it created a time series. So basically it took the old data and copied into the current year. So it was a calculation, not a forecast yet. Forecast is coming in as a next step. So the new time series should be here. We can see that the dates are new, and now I'm doing forecasting. So demo 1 forecasting profile, time bucket. We can select daily, monthly, weekly, and how many buckets in the horizon. 53 for the whole year. Okay, and it allows to select 3 algorithms: Profit, ARIMA, or ETS, but custom algorithms can be created. Again, we can run it as a schedule or manually. And now the forecast profile is created, input and output, and in the step in the between, we can see the model type is profit. Pausing here for a second. So profit is the algorithm. So there are 3 algorithms, but in addition to that, so some are doing better with seasonality, some are doing better on something else. But there is also one algorithm called best fit. So the system can decide which one to use for certain products and certain time periods automatically. So you can also use best fit model to do the forecasting. And we can also give a seasonality hint here. And that's pretty much it for now. And in the input area, we define time series for the input, what time series I'm consuming. I'm consuming the new one where I calculated 9 years offset. Okay, now I'm saving it, and I want to run it now. So I click run. And it's now doing the forecasting job. Okay, before I go on. So output option, it's asking what time series is the output now. We can use the new time series or existing one and then add just a version number to it in case you don't want to have too many of them. Okay, so then going on here, the forecast was scheduled. So the job is created. And when I refresh, I can see it's executing. And that was pretty fast. I think it was a minute or 2. And it's completed now. And when I go into the new time series that I created. That was called demo D1 time series. And then, okay, it did something more nice here. It tried to, based on the time series. Of course, I didn't have much data, historical data. It was demo data. So it calculated, extrapolated and interpolated data here. And again, we see it in regular way here as a graph and as a table. By the way, there is download button here. We can nicely export that into Excel and see that in Excel and analyze it there. There is a share button again to share this the link to this very page, this one here. It's very easy to another user to come here and work based on that. And then we also can modify it manually here, either the numbers on the detailed level or the totals. For example, when I change the total here, the whole all the lines are changing. Okay, so we can see the numbers changed based on the weights. Okay, let's go on more faster. Now doing export. Export is right here, and it asks what is the URL what you want to export into. So back to 365, and now what data I want to include. I want to include my forecasted data. Include data source. Okay, then going on with next. So now the system is asking how to map data from demand planning to 365. So we map, I have here, we map item, warehouse, quantity, dates, and so on. Warehouse, product and product variant are supported, and that's pretty much it for now. I didn't have customer right now. And then what company I want to insert it into, all customers or all companies or some specific. So I'm doing into USMF, forecast model TP1, company USMF, and then it's exported, run as a schedule or manually. Right now I'm running it manually. And in the meantime, yeah, so it's now we have an export job here. And it's running, executing, and the data is going into 365 now. Yes, so this is 365 now. We can see there are several, should come up there again, jobs running right now. So this job is running for demand planning and having 3,000 records. And I can see data here. Some of the records are completed already, going back into the TP1 model. So now that data basically will be taken into account by the master planning. Okay, so the export is completed. Yeah, master planning we already covered in the previous webinar. So basically it starts from here again. So this was the missing part from the previous webinar. Okay, let's come back to the presentation here. Quick words about installation. It is running on the Power Platform, so it can be installed and managed from the admin center. Then we need to enable it, and yeah, and also, by the way, it requires supply chain management premium license. And there security is available, and also so the security roles are visible here on the right side, and on the left side I'm showing access rules. We can define row level access, meaning some people have access to certain legal entities or certain customers or certain items or group of items. This is possible. And the real life data based on what I have done on the implementations. So when we imported 1.2 million items multiplied by 15 variants, a huge amount of items, and 2 years, the import was pretty fast. It was 4 hours. But I didn't need all the finished good information. In this implementation, I needed only semi-finished good item planning. So I had 8,000 semi-finished good items multiplied by 15 variants. 2 years, import took 30 minutes. Same data, 53 weeks for forecasting was impressively fast. It was just a couple of minutes or minutes. And the export, the export included millions of rows, and the export to 365 was 5 hours. Of course, not all the companies have so much data. Okay, so this was pretty much it about demand planning, and now the next topic, which is a little bit smaller, distributed order management. The distributed order management is a function in 365, and it's a rule-based engine that decides where and how an order should be fulfilled. Like you have a sales order, then you need to decide in what warehouse that order needs to be placed into and shipped from. And the decisions are made based on the available inventory, delivery speeds, shipping costs, customer locations, warehouse workload, profitability. Cost can be defined, customer priorities. For priority customers, split shipment rules. So if you want to split orders or not, and what's the minimum amount to be split into, and sustainability targets. And here is a Microsoft slide about DOM, distributed order management. The order sources can be a call center, e-commerce, brick and mortar stores, like mobile commerce, kiosk. So the thing is, the sales order in 365 must have retail sale checkbox checked on the order. Then the DOM functionality will take over and will do the calculation. So then we define some logics in the system, like fulfillment profiles and some other rules, and do the processing. And then we have the fulfillment plan. Basically, it will tell us from what site to and where to ship it from, and how it should be shipped. And in the Baltic area, we know that while in the US, the functionality certainly is very useful, as there are many companies having many warehouses across the whole country. But also in the Baltic states, there are companies that have a central warehouse plus local branches. There is cross-border shipping. We need fast delivery with limited stock. There are seasonal demand spikes, and e-commerce business is taking up. So e-commerce is especially makes sense to use this functionality. And the pain points of the company is too much stock in the wrong warehouse, expensive split deliveries, manual fulfillment decisions, which are timely and late deliveries, and DOM solves those issues. There are some examples in what businesses might be useful. Certainly, e-commerce businesses, and also some examples in the wholesale area and in the manufacturing area. Okay, then there are also some examples in the e-commerce growth companies. Now, technically, we have a fulfillment profile in the system that needs to be populated. We define legal entities, what this logic is against to, and that profile defines rules. And I'm explaining the rules in a second, but you can define multiple profiles having different rules on it. And what are the rules? So minimum inventory rule, fulfillment location priority rule. Should have more descriptions actually here also. But I will show rather in the system. Then partial order rule, if you can split the order partial or not. Offline fulfillment, certain warehouses can be offline for certain times for fulfilling orders. Maximum reject rules, maximum distance rule. So how many kilometers from the order delivery destination point we can have the warehouse, like in kilometers. And maximum order rules per warehouse. Okay. And we define applicable sales regions, and we define applicable mode of deliveries on that profile. And some parameters, the system is using maps information, either the Bing map or the Azure map, to do the calculation between zip codes, so it understands how far is one point from another point, and can do the calculation. And then we run, after we enter the orders into the system, then we run the batch job, which does the calculation, or that can be also run on the sales order line manually. So if you enter an order and you want to do a calculation right away, you can also launch the calculation right away. And then you have fulfillment plans, which gives you the information. So this sales order, this item should be shipped from this site, from this warehouse. So the system made a decision to ship from this warehouse. You can override it, and then you can define the reason why you overrode it, why I decided to not to use the suggestion. Okay, and now I'm showing that also in the system. Meantime was already closed. I will open up again. And right now, I'm using USRT company in the demo database for this purpose. And the whole the functionality of it is in the retail and commerce module. And there is a distributed order management. And the fulfillment profiles is the one I would show first. So we saw that on the PowerPoint slide. The profile is active, it's enabled. You can change it after you disable it. It's linked to certain warehouse groups. So basically, it's a group of warehouses, and you can group warehouses into different groups and say this fulfillment profile is linked to those groups, and those logics, the rules defined here, work against those warehouse groups. The rules are the ones I just mentioned. When I uncheck this, I can actually refresh. I can also view details on each rule. And when I remove the filter here, you can see all the rules. The rules can be predefined, but when you define the rule, you would select which hard-coded rule I'm using and what I'm setting up right now. Each rule has its own parameter also here, like partial order rule. You cannot go below below $50, for example, 50 euros. Offline location rule defines what location is offline. Minimum order rule by warehouse. Minimum inventory. You have to keep one unit for each warehouse, so the warehouse can also serve regular customers, not only e-commerce customers. Maximum order rule, maximum 20 orders per warehouse group or per warehouse. The maximum distance, like 321 kilometers maximum. And location priority, which locations have the fastest priority. Priority 1, priority 2. And then going back to the profile, here we can, I should now enable it again, but here is also cost factors available. You can define the cost factors, so the system can also do calculations based on the delivery costs. Okay, I will enable that again, so I can use it in the system. And again, the mode of deliveries and sales origins are pretty important to be defined. So right now I have one origin, it's called phone. Okay, I think I can do one example now. I have time for that. So when I go into the sales and marketing in the USRT legal entity and all sales orders, there is one relevant thing here. The DOM calculation requires a checkbox on the sales order header And we are also populating the checkbox in the regular sales orders on our implementation, so that Tom will take it over. So retail sales, that checkbox needs to be on. And right now in this demo, you have this checkbox on. I'm creating the I'm using the call center functionality to create a sales order. Basically, I go here, create a new sales order. I can use same customer, for example. And for now, I will leave the warehouse empty. So I want the system decide which warehouse I have to ship it from. Of course, I have very limited time here to show how all the logic works, I guess. So we need a pretty deep analysis session to go all the functions, but basically showing how the calculations work. Okay, and now I need also the sales origin, which I mentioned, the phone. Okay, I should have all now. Okay, 99 is the mode of delivery, and that's it for the sales order header. And for the lines, I will put just 2 items. I hope those work. So item 1, quantity. Okay, quantity 2, item 2 is a little bit off. Item 2 and quantity, yeah, 2, for example. Okay, now since I'm using call center functionalities, so I have to pay this order for now, which depends on how you are doing this. Okay. Okay. Try it again. The payment method is cash. Should be able. Yeah, okay. So cash and submit. Okay, now this order is being completed in terms of call center, and I have this order retail sales checkbox is on. And now I can run the calculation from the lines here. On the lines, I have update line and DOM fulfillment location suggestion. But I'm running it as a batch job, then we can see more functions. And I will create a new tab here, and should take just a couple of seconds to run. And that should complete the whole process. So the retail and commerce DOM batch job. And I will select the profile and run it right away. So it might take a couple of seconds here to run. So it's doing all the logics calculations. Okay, it completed. And now there is another tab here called fulfillment plans, where I can see all the calculations. So this is the new calculation. Yeah, we can see all the calculations done so far. And it gives us the information what warehouse it was designed to, assigned to. But we also can see now it should have the warehouse populated also on the line here. Yeah, Seattle warehouse was populated on the line. The second item is also Seattle. So the system calculated the warehouses. And we can also view the view DOM log, which gives all the detailed information, how the calculation was done, how the decision was done. So this can be run as a batch job and for all the orders in the system. So it's pretty useful based on our experience. So that is all for those 2 functions. I would conclude my part here.
Thank you, Meelis. It was very detailed and good demo for the ones who work in this field and need this kind of good solution to handle these processes. So that's really something to keep eye on it and ask more details from us if something is not clear or you would need some more information. So what we covered today, we covered Microsoft Dynamics 365 demand planning and distributed order management functionalities. Microsoft Dynamics 365 supply chain management is very comprehensive ERP solution for big and enterprise level companies. So that's just a little part which we showed today. But to conclude, it was really good that you had time to participate in today's webinar. What we can promise you that you can ask for personalized demo if you have any additional questions or you want to show it to your colleagues. And also for preparation of these demos, etc., there are Microsoft funding available. So you can just scan the QR code and fill the application, and we will be contacting you in few days. So if there is any interest from you to see how Dynamics 365 finance and supply chain would help your organization in nowadays hectic world, then please don't hesitate to contact us and apply for a demo, and also Microsoft funding to cover the costs setting up this kind of detailed demo. So me and Meelis, thank you for participating today's webinar, and see you in our next demos. Thank you.